in front of Judge Jones here in 36th District Court. Thank you, sir. You can step aside.
Just would you take it?
Hi, what's your name, sir?
Samir Hattis.
Thank you. And this will be 25-045-290, State of Michigan versus Samir Hattis. Counsel.
Thank you, Magistrate. Steve Vinson for the people.
For the record, Christina Harris on behalf of Samir Hattis, who stands mute, waits a formal reading of the complaint, and Mr. Hattis has been advised of, and he understands his statutory and constitutional rights.
Thank you. Court will enter not guilty plea on your client's behalf. Ask to bond.
Magistrate, this defendant has been on probation for an OWI third since January of 2024. You can see the incident date here is October 20th of 2024. So at the time of this incident, he was still on probation. He actually has managed to accumulate 2 probation violations on that probation since he was sentenced. He actually recently had a show cause hearing April 8th. Magistrate, it's being charged as a DV. There are some concerning allegations, however, because apparently while he was on probation, one of the allegations was he was not only driving at the time of this incident, but allegedly based on the complainant, he was high. And that's how the incident started, was the complainant didn't want this individual back to her house because of his condition. Now, ironically, he was on probation for an alcohol-related offense at the time. I don't have anything since this incident. I do have some very concerning text messages that he did end up sending to the complainant. But with all of that being said, Magistrate, at this time, we would be asking for a strict no contact whatsoever with the complaining witness, and we wouldn't be objecting to a personal bond.
Your Honor, no objection to no contact with the complaining witness and no objection to a personal bond. Mr. Hattis is works in sales, works on a full-time basis, and we're no objection to personal bond.
Mr. Vincent, you mentioned he's on probation for something previously. Is there any prior issues that reached the level of our court or another court with regard to these 2 individuals?
Magistrate, I don't have that. I have a 2016 OWI out of Livonia. I have a 2018 felony UTA felony fleeing third and an R&O. I don't have anything else regarding this individual specifically at 36D. There was talk about a PPO order, but that would have been through third, and I didn't see whether or not that was filed and or served at this point.
And I think that, there was talk about anything is not evidence or nothing should be submitted when there is just talk of something. So I think that the court should not consider that. Thank you.
Well, it is mentioned in the write-up that she's thinking about going to get a PPO. And based on these allegations, I hope she does, although we know what limited success we have with PPOs these days. Mr. Benson, you said you weren't objecting to a personal. Is that my recollection?
Yeah, it is, Magistrate. I don't have anything else assaultive. A little concerning that he was on probation, but at this time we weren't objecting to the personal.
And I have no objection to a personal as well.
Thank you. While this case is pending, sir, you are not to use alcohol, marijuana, or any illegal controlled substances. Is that clear to you? Additionally, you have no contact with Ms. Szymanski. Is that clear to you?
Yes.
Court will set bond at $10,000 personal. Next court date is a pre-trial June 16 in front of Judge Garrett here in 36th District Court. Thank you, sir. You can step aside.
Ricardo Wesley Jones.
Thank you, sir. And this will be case 1804507 State of Michigan versus Ricardo Wesley Jones, counsel.
Lisa Coyle, appearing on behalf of the people.
Christina Harris on behalf of Ricardo Wesley Jones, who stands mute, waives the formal reading of the complaint, and Mr. Jones has been advised of and understands his statutory and constitutional rights.
Court will enter a not guilty plea on your client's behalf. It looks like this case came to some sort of resolution. There's an order of probation entered back in 2019 with standard sort of probationary conditions. Esteban.
Your Honor, that's what I see. I see a high BAC pled down to an unimpaired. There was a 1,000 cash surety bench warrant set on December 10th of 19. So this is an adjudicated matter as far as I see as well. So I have no objection, Your Honor. I don't know how he got here today, whether he walked in or not, but no objection to a personal bond in this matter.
No objection to the recommendation of a personal bond made.
There anything you want to address, Ms. Harris, with regard to why he hasn't been here in 5.5 years?
Your Honor, he stated that he just did not remember to come back.
All right,
And
sir.
he has had no
Okay.
contact since that time.
Okay. The allegations in the motion for probation violations that he failed to report to probation, failed to provide a valid address to probation, and his whereabouts were unknown at that time. So you realize that while you did plead this matter down, you still have some work to do to complete the matter. You understand that?
Sorry.
All right. So while this case continues to pend some 5.5 years after the, or more than that, after the plea was entered, you are not to consume alcohol at any time. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
All right. Court will set bond at $5,000 personal. Next court date, pretrial, or some hearing with regard to the probation on June 16 in front of Judge Bryant. Thank you, sir. You can step aside.
Scott McDonald.
Thank you, sir. Mr. McDonald, you've got some tickets we're going to deal with here. These, oh yeah, where you missed some court dates. When you miss these dates, a judge issued an arrest warrant for you. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and if you cannot afford an attorney, the court will provide one for you. Do you understand those rights?
Yes.
All right, first ticket is P896513-1 with a charge of driving while license not valid. Next ticket is P896514, charges of driving unregistered vehicle and no insurance misdemeanor. And then ticket Z806408, charge of operating with a high BAC, high blood alcohol content. These are misdemeanor charges. Maximum penalty you face on the first two is up to 93 days in jail and or $500 fine. On the high blood alcohol, maximum penalty is up to 180 days, fines of between 200 and 700 hours, 300, possibly 360 hours of community service, and several other items such as immobilization of your vehicle and cost of prosecution. And what's the alleged blood alcohol? When did this happen? 2017. Oh, I know Miss Harris, her office jumps up and down whenever I do anything other than just a straight probation, a straight personal bond. You want to address the
I
obvious things I'm
promise
thinking
I will
about?
not leave my seat if personal bonds are going to be issued. I will not jump up nor down, Your Honor.
Okay. It'll be personal. The alleged blood alcohol is 0.19, 0.20. You have any objection to any sort of monitoring of that?
Your Honor, we're just asking for a personal bond. Christina Harris, on behalf of Scott McDonald. Your Honor, we're asking for a personal bond herein, and we're asking, now that Mr. McDonald is aware of these cases and what is going on, he gives his assurance that he will return to court for all future hearings. So we're asking for no monitor and no tether.
All right, well,
the
given
form-
that the matter is dates back from 2017, I won't put him on a alcohol tether, but sir, while this case is pending, you are not to consume alcohol at any time. Is that clear to you? All right, court will set bond. Yeah, they're all personal bonds, no dollar amount. Next court date on all of these is June 20th in front of Judge Wagner here in 36th District Court. Thank you, sir. You can step aside.
Pipeline.
Hi, what's your name?
William Thompson.
Thank you. Mr. Thompson, you've got all the tickets I've ever seen in my life. You missed some court dates on these tickets. When you miss those dates, a judge issued an arrest warrant for you. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and if you cannot afford an attorney, court will provide one for you. This has to be an inch worth of tickets. Do you understand those rights, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand you need to show up to court and take care of these tickets?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. First ticket is P10450552, charges of driving unregistered vehicle, driving while license not valid, no insurance misdemeanor. P11000265, driver's license never acquired. P1112410, improper plates, failure to display valid operator's license, no insurance misdemeanor. P1135831, failure to display valid operator's license. P1183590, open alcohol and motor vehicle as the driver. P1228672, driving unregistered vehicle, driving while unlicensed. SP 122-98871, 72. 73, no. 71 is driving while license suspended. 72 is open alcohol and motor vehicle as the driver. No. And and ticket SP 144-64171, driver's license never acquired. P1238012, drive while license suspended. P1265733, driving while license suspended and no insurance misdemeanor. P1281941, failure to display valid operator's license and improper plates. P1294967, driver's license expired. P1301849, driving while license suspended, driving unregistered vehicle, no insurance misdemeanor. P1318375, no insurance misdemeanor, failure to display valid operator's license. P1361332, driving with revoked license. P1373521, driving while license suspended. P 1421932, driver's license never required, supplying false information to a police officer. P 1446417, driver's license never required. P 1637640, driving with revoked license. P 1653272, driving while license suspended, no insurance misdemeanor. P 1668307, driver's license never required, no insurance misdemeanor, driving unregistered vehicle. P 1677157, improper plates, no insurance misdemeanor, driving unregistered vehicle. P 1677228, driver's license never required. Sir, these are all misdemeanor charges. Maximum penalty you face on each is up to 93 days in jail and or $500 fine. I'm going to set aside the arrest warrants, enter a not guilty plea on your behalf, and give you a personal bond. Your next court date on these is a pretrial June 18. Madam Clerk, what judge is this, please?
Who's that for?
William Thompson's tickets.
William Thompson tickets. Let me double check.
Mhm.
That will be in front of Judge Ramsey Heath.
Okay. Well, lucky day for you, Mr. Thompson. Your court date is June 18th in front of Judge Ramsey Heath. I suggest you show up in front of her. You'll probably get all of that worked out on one day. And for your other matter today, it's 25-055-724, State of Michigan versus William Darrell Thompson, counsels.
Lisa Coyle appearing on behalf of the people.
Christina Harris on behalf of William Thompson, who stands mute, waives the formal reading of the complaint, and Mr. Thompson has been advised of, and he understands the statutory and constitutional rights.
Court will enter not guilty plea on your client's behalf as to bond.
Your Honor, I do note that this occurred back on August 4th of 24, so almost 10 months ago. But it is highly assaultive. Allegedly, the defendant came to the house of the complainant and pointed a rifle at her and her boyfriend if they had changed the locks. I do note that 2 days later, the police execute a search warrant at his house. An AR rifle was recovered and now is in addition to magazines and live ammunition. The defendant at the time and currently is still on probation for CCW. I'm sorry. So anyhow, he's on probation. His record is troubling as well. A 2022 CCW, a 2016 computer crime, receiving concealing motor vehicle, 2016 obstruction by disguise, a 2017 unarmed robbery, receiving concealing motor vehicle, a 2016 also under HIDA, UDA, as well as RCSP motor vehicle, both attempts, Your Honor. So this is, although this is, I do note that the prosecutor wrote that this was a backlog warrant. I do not see anything in the notes to indicate that there's been any contact between the defendant as to the complainants, Ms. Hill or Mr. Johnson, or any contact with the Huff Street address. There's not enough in that note to give me any indication, but based on the fact that he's on probation for a gun, that the alleged that a gun was pointed at two people over an argument over the changing the locks, and that 2 days later a search warrant was executed at his home, and based on he has felony convictions that he's not supposed to have a gun, they recovered the AR that was described by the complainants. For those reasons, Your Honor, the people believe he's a danger to the community as well as the complainants. I'm asking for a $20,000 cash surety with a tether, Your Honor. Thank you.
Your
This
Honor,
moment,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Thompson, Mr. Thompson, just one moment, please. Let me speak.
okay,
In response, Mr. Thompson, this is a property dispute. The property located on, it is in the place of offense. Mr. Thompson states he owns that property. He came to the property and saw that the complaining witnesses were squatting in his property, and that was the reason that he was changing the locks. He says that he purchased this property, he owns this property, and these people are squatting in his property, and he was attempting to get them from his, off his premises. Mr. Thompson is in the process of finishing his GED. He works on a full-time basis at a restaurant, 40 hours per week plus, and sometimes additional hours at this restaurant. He understands the importance of returning for all court hearing dates. In looking at this, we think that this may be a reissue. We couldn't figure it out, but counsel stated that maybe it's a backlog, but he turned himself in originally when this warrant was originally issued. And so we're asking for a personal bond. Mr. Thompson won't have any contact with the complaining witness. And while this matter is pending, he won't have any contact with the address that is the place of offense on the investigator's report. He understands the importance of returning for all court hearing dates. He does not have any history of not returning for court hearing dates. And so we're asking for a personal bond so that Mr. Thompson does not lose his employment, that he works 7:30 to 2 a.m., 7:30 p.m. to 2 a.m., excuse me, and sometimes additional hours. And for that reason, we're asking for a personal bond. So he'll have no contact while this matter is pending. And, later on, this will really flesh itself out by way of property and land records. Thank you, Your Honor.
So, just so we're clear, if someone has a squatter in their property, as apparently is the claim here, self-help is not the answer, and certainly self-help with an AR-15 is really not the answer.
Your Honor,
There are the,
Mr. Thompson, please preserve your right to remain silent at this time, because anything you say can be held against you. You are on a recorded Zoom. And so you don't want to say something that will not be in your best interest. So please remain silent, Mr. Thompson. Thank you, sir.
I am giving some thought to a GPS tether to make sure he doesn't go to that property, but I'm not convinced that I need to do that. Does counsel want to address that?
I can address that. Is that Mr. Thompson has not been over there, and he's given his assurance that he will not. He understands the importance, and he wants to maintain his job, and it has been explained to him. So I don't think he has any issue with complying with an order of the court to not return there in exchange for him being free to be able to go to work and come and go and live his life and not have any contact with the complaining witness either while this matter is pending. Because as stated before, property records will bear this out and deal with this. So he doesn't have to engage in any more self-help or go over there. Thank you.
Well, I looked up what Ms. Harris said. There is another FA from 2022, but it's not this. This is the allegations are in this, that he shot his girlfriend. And that case is under review right now. So, and that place, I don't want to go into, because it is under investigation right now. But it's also a claim of self-help. And so, Your Honor, let's look at just what's in front of the court here. Based on his record, based on the fact that he's a felon in possession of a firearm that he's not supposed to have. They recover it from his house, that he's on probation for a gun. That is enough, Your Honor, to show that, to me, that he is a danger to the community. He's not supposed to have it. And if you believe what Ms. Harris is saying, and I have no reason to doubt that's what her client has told her, he's not supposed to have a gun, period. So based on those allegations, it's a 5-year offense plus 2 for the gun, taking out the felonious assault. So based on that, Your Honor, I'm asking for that $20,000 cash surety and a tether house arrest as well.
Can't say nothing to the Your Honor, I'll speak for 1 second.
Mr. Thompson,
Sir, let me just
it's
make
in
the
your best
record, sir.
interest to remain, go ahead, I mean, Your Honor, I'll be silent and let you speak.
Mr. Thompson, this is your hearing. You certainly have every right to speak. You do have the right to remain silent. Your attorney has advised you multiple times to remain silent. Since I doubt you have much training or experience in the law, I would suggest you take your attorney's advice. But with that being said, Ms. Harris, go ahead.
Mr. Thompson, nobody, just as the magistrate said, this is your hearing. You have the right to speak, but I'm advising you because I don't know what you're going to say.
What I want to say is I've been on probation for 3 years now for the CCW case, and the gun was not mine. That they went over there to Pinehurst and found, because my baby mama said they raided her house and found the gun. That wasn't mine. I turned myself in, and my main judge is down on that, and he brought up this situation right here, and they dismissed the case. It was false accusations with Kyra and Jamal Johnson. That's what I was trying to tell y'all.
Thank you.
All right, here's what we'll do, sir. While this case is pending, you're not to possess a firearm or any other dangerous weapon. You're to have no contact with Ms. Hill, no contact with the Haas Street address. I will put you on a GPS tether. It will be unrestricted as to time and place, except you cannot go to Haas. Is that understood? Court will set bond at $50,000 personal. Next court date is June 10, probable cause conference, June 17, preliminary exam, both in front of Judge Jefferson here in 36th District Court. Thank you, sir. You can step aside.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Is there any reason why Macomb County Jail will be zooming in? Anybody here or counsel?
Nothing on the list that we are aware of, maybe for the afternoon.
All right.
That's
Or
just-
it could be one of our Zoom bombers. Good morning, sir. What's your name, please?
Aaron Glenn Howell Jr.
Thank you. This will be case 02061445, State of Michigan versus Aaron Howell, Madam Clerk. Looks like the mitt was, the R in Aaron is a V on the mitt. I don't know if that's a typo or how that happened. What? Okay. His name is Aaron, Aaron.
Mr. Howell, would you please spell your name?
HOWELL.
First name, please.
Aaron, AARON.
Yeah,
Thank you.
the complaint is crossed out. So that's how we have it here. And when I look in the system, that's how they have it.
Okay. All right, we'll get the MIT straightened out, but in the meantime, councils, your appearances.
Thank you, Magistrate. Steve Benson for the people.
Christina Harris on behalf of Aaron Howell. Are you a junior, Mr. Howell?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Christina Harris on behalf of Aaron Howell Jr., who stands mute, waives the formal reading of the complaint, and Mr. Howell Jr. has been advised of and understands his statutory and constitutional rights.
Court will enter not guilty plea on your client's behalf. It looks like there was a capias entered in 2002 for $3,000 cash or surety and as to bond.
Magistrate, I mean, he's had 23 plus years or 22 plus years to try to address this. I see what you're seeing. I think it was post adjudication. I think he was actually found guilty of this based on my read of the Register of Actions, where his name is actually spelled the way that you had originally stated, the AAVONE.
Okay.
But with that said, Magistrate, I'm going to leave this one up to you.
Okay.
Your Honor, the file, the Register of Actions is not exactly clear as to what transpired. Additionally, Mr. Howell spent some time in prison also, which may have caused him not to be present for his court hearing date. So we're asking for a personal bond and a date wherein he can handle this, because he hasn't had any contacts or convictions since, he has been released from prison. So thank you, Your Honor. Personal bond and a court date is what we're requesting. Thank you.
Thank you. When was he released from prison?
Mr. Howell, please, can you tell us?
I was released in 2023 from prison, and then,
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
yes, ma'am.
What did he go to prison for?
I
Do you
don't,
have that,
Your
Mr.
Honor, I
Benson?
am not aware.
Magistrate, if you give me about 30 seconds, I can find that for you.
Thank you.
I'm checking under both names right now since we have two. Not under the AAVONE like the one spelled before this court. Under the MDOC, I don't have, it potentially could have been out of state, but I don't have anything under the MDOC for the AARON, as well as the way that it's spelled AAVONE, either an active or anything past. So I can't get anything off of the Department of Corrections website right now.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor, also my client has indicated the complaining witness listed herein, he has not seen that complaining witness in 20 years.
Well, I guess my question is, if he was released in 23, when did he go to prison? And does that explain why he hasn't seen her in 20 years? But here's what we'll do. It is a 23-year-old, minimum 23-year-old case. And it is a misdemeanor, which has been resolved in some way previously. So court will set bond at $5,000 personal. Sir, you're not to have any contact with Miss Davis. If you haven't seen her in 20 years, don't go seeing her now, okay?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
All right, next court date will be June 16 for a pretrial in front of Judge Garrett. Is that going to be in person, Madam Clerk?
Yes, Your Honor.
In-person hearing in front of Judge Garrett on June 16, right here in 36th District Court. Thank you, sir. You can step aside.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It should be yours. Should be.
Douglas Gaines.
Thank you, sir. One moment. How do you pronounce the first name, sir?
Douglas Gaines, yes, sir.
Thank you. This will be case 25-057952, State of Michigan versus Jacquees Martell Gaines. Counsel.
Thank you, Magistrate. Steve Vincent for the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jessica Shive, P number 81798, on behalf of Mr. Gaines, who is formal reading and understands his constitutional rights and stands here.
Court will enter not guilty plea on your client's behalf as to bond.
Magistrate, at this point, we're not going to be objecting to a personal bond. We just want to make the court aware. I think you can see on the HAB notice, he was previously convicted of a gun offense in 22, ended up getting 2 years probation. Here we have multiple gun offenses. The R&O that he's being charged with, it appears as though it's more resisting than anything else. Just wanted you to be aware of that.
No objections for the record, Your Honor, for the personal bond. However, I do have to make some things, I do have to place some things on the record for my client because of this case, if the court would allow me to.
Certainly.
There is definitely abuse of power. He has bruises from the police, and I wanted to put that on the record before there's no longer bruises on him and he can't prove that. I'm hoping they took the pictures at the Detroit Detention Center. And he's been in custody since late Saturday, early Sunday. This is in front of his house, at his house, actually, blocking his own driveway. Supposedly regarding tents, they come up to him and start this whole ordeal and tase another person, and then the ground comes out, and all of these issues. My client understands he needs to be at his court dates, not on probation, parole, nothing pending in school, has a job, is doing a program through through Michigan Works. It's called Learn and Earn, but yet he's sitting all weekend there over abuse from the police and abuse of power, and for messing with him right in front of his house. So I know the court, I'm hoping the court gives a personal bond. I know the people asked for a personal bond. I won't object to that, but it's important for us to make a record of these things for our client. So he has a moving forward. So thank you for allowing us to do that, Your Honor.
Sure thing. Sir, while this case is pending, you are not to possess a firearm at any time. Is that clear? Court will set bond at $10,000 personal. Next court date is a probable cause conference, June 10, preliminary exam, June 17, both in front of Judge Jefferson here in 36th District Court. Thank you, sir. You can step aside.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yep. And DDC, that's all the mails, right?
Wait on you. Female side.
All right, sounds good.
Your Honor, I'm sorry. Did the court say no contact with that address or just no?
I said no guns.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Good morning. What's your name, please?
It's Natalie Graham.
Thank you. Ms. Graham, you got a lot of looks like animal related tickets where you failed to or you missed some court dates. When you missed those dates, a judge issued an arrest warrant for you. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and if you cannot afford an attorney, the court will provide one for you. Do you understand those rights?
Yes, sir.
First ticket is V 133230 with the charge of harboring an unlicensed dog.
Yes, sir. I believe a lot of them are the same.
Hold on, we got a lot of these. Just let me get through them and I'll give you a date and you can take care of those in front of the judge that's going to be handling. Second ticket is V 133231, harboring unlicensed dog. V 133232, failure to vaccinate a dog. V 133233, failure to vaccinate dog. V 133234, failed owner's duty of care, improper food and water. V 133235, improper food and water. V 133236, improperly cleaned or unsanitary conditions. V 133237, improper cleaning and or unsanitary conditions. V 133238, failure to prevent animal from engaging in nuisance behavior. V 133239, failing to provide a leash and or responsible person for a dog off the owner's property. V 133240, tethering a dog in an open area. V 133241, tethering a dog in an open area. V 133242, tethering a dog in an area composed entirely of bare earth. V 133243, tethering a dog in an area composed entirely of bare earth. V 133244, tethering a dog to a stationary object that would allow the dog to come within 5 feet of any property line. Okay. V 133245, tethering a dog to a stationary object that would allow the dog to come within 5 feet of any property line. These are all misdemeanor charges. Maximum penalties faced on each is up to $93. I'm sorry, 93 days in jail and or $500. I want to set aside the arrest warrants, enter a not guilty plea on your behalf and give you a personal bond Your next court date is a pretrial June 17 in front of Judge Perkins here in 36th District Court. Your other matter today is case 25-057953, State of Michigan versus Natalie Marie Graham, counsel.
Lisa Coyle, appearing on behalf of the people.
Christina Harris, on behalf of Natalie Graham, who stands mute, waives the formal reading of the complaint, and Ms. Graham has been advised of and understands her statutory and constitutional rights.
Court will enter not guilty plea on your client's behalf. Mr. Bond.
Your Honor, this is non-assaultive. It's a traffic stop with a gun in her purse. I do know a history of substance abuse, but she currently is on probation for possession of methamphetamine to Judge Bridget Hathaway. The fact that this is non-assaultive, no objection to a 10,000 personal, Your Honor.
No objection to the recommendation made.
Thank you, Ms. Graham. While this case is pending, you are not to possess a firearm at any time. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Court will set bond at $10,000 personal. Next court date is probable cause conference, June 13, preliminary exam, June 20th, both in front of Judge Taylor here in 36th District Court. Thank you, Ms. Graham. You can step aside. Counsel, if you two can hang on for 1 second, I want to see what this Macomb County Jail is. All right.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
DDC, that's everyone in the morning, right?
Yes, thank you, sir.